Right, hiya, folks. This is Khee, Locke's ever-loyal annotated interlocutor, and this next one is going to be a tough one for me, but Locke won't stop gushing on these guys and said that we already have done so many goblins he needs a break. You'd think saving his quill from an inkwell disaster would earn a goblin some affection? But no, it's all, oh, the Sylvaneth are so elegant, so ancient, so noble. Who cares if I was also the one to cause the inkwell disaster? Saving his quill should count for something. I mean, he had hundreds of them. You only really need one, right? Anyway, today's tale, his pick, obviously, dives into the leafy realm of the Sylvaneth. If you're into towering tree spirits with ancient grudges and a thing for floral arrangements that bite, then oh boy, you're in for a treat. Me, I'd rather not get strangled by a sentient shrub, thanks. But hey, Locke likes them, and I like Locke. So here we are. Right, the Sylvaneth, sometimes called Alarielle's children, and once known as the treemen of the world that was, are a species of intelligent, usually humanoid tree spirits created by Alarielle, the goddess of life and nature. Alarielle? Man, why do all these elves have such hard-to-pronounce names? Sorry, guys, Locke said I was pronouncing it wrong. Don't want to get the name of a goddess wrong. She might turn me into a goblin-sized dryad. That actually sounds kind of cute. The term Sylvaneth encompasses a wide range of tree-like humanoids, first created when Alarielle planted seeds she had preserved from the destruction of the world that was in Giran during the Age of Myth. Since that time, the Sylvaneth have greatly multiplied. While they remain strongest in their native realm of life, they have since spread to the other mortal realms in the Age of Sigmar. Spreading like roots in your basement after a leaky pipe, but, nobler. Their Fey spirits are shaped from life magic, and their physical bodies are grown from soul pods located in the wildwood. Most take on a humanoid form with a wide variety of shapes and sizes depending on their purpose and soul shaping. Imagine opening a pod and pulling out a 5-foot-tall wooden librarian with opinions about moss. Now imagine he sings at you. A Sylvaneth's bark acts as natural armor with a heartwood core beneath. The bark itself varies in color and pattern and may shift depending on their needs, growing thicker for combat or lightening when speed is required. Built-in armor and camouflage? All right, I'm a tiny bit jealous. Many Sylvaneth encourage other plants to grow on their bodies, adorning themselves with crowns of flowers, cloaks of vines, or branch-like hair. Some even grow antlers or horns. Oh, Locke says it's beautiful. I say it's a hazard in narrow hallways. Some of their faces are sculpted by knots and hollows, often illuminated by fey lights in their eyes. Their expressions remain fixed, unchanging with age, unless consciously adopted. Which means they choose to look that smug. Noted. All Sylvaneth are bound to Alarielle's spirit song, a divine harmony woven from her love and power. It strengthens them and resonates louder when they gather together. If you ask Locke, which you shouldn't unless you want a 6-hour rant, is the spirit song. It's this magical, divine melody woven by Alarielle herself. Every Sylvaneth hears it in their soul, and it's how they stay connected across the realm of life. To be separated from the spirit song is their greatest fear. While echoes may be heard in other realms, many Sylvaneth would rather return to Giran than risk the loneliness and madness that follows disconnection. Lonely? Yeah, I get that. When in Giran, the Sylvaneth add their own harmonies to the spirit song to speak across great distances. Verbal speech is rare and used only for communicating with outsiders. Their voices vary from gentle whispers to deep, groaning rumbles. They can use the song to communicate, like a spiritual group chat, but more dramatic. Only those accustomed to mortals try to move their wooden mouths to match their words, otherwise their faces remain still. Creepy. Meanwhile, I get accused of being creepy for lighting a candle and talking to myself. Their motivations differ greatly from other peoples of the realms. Sylvaneth have no interest in wealth or conquest. They exist to protect the natural order, as Alarielle intended. Bit judgy about it too, if you ask me. To quick-blooded mortals, humans, Duarden, and the like, they often show mistrust or pity, sometimes even open hostility. At best, they see outsiders as lost creatures, unable to understand their place in nature. If they think humans and dwarves are, quote, quick-blooded, imagine what they must think of goblins. Their bark is reinforced by Alarielle's life magic, making them resistant to blades, bullets, and claws alike. Age is variable among them. Some may be mere saplings, others ancient beyond reckoning. And none of them need to moisturize. Unfair. Locke once called them noble souls in arboreal form. I called them walking furniture with attitude. Guess which one he wrote down? Right. Continuing from the official record. In the Age of Myth, after Alarielle was awakened by Sigmar, she wandered alone through the wilds of Giran for a long time. She sought no company, speaking only to plants and creatures, nurturing life wherever she went. But in time, solitude grew weary, and she sowed her most treasured artifacts, seeds saved from the world that was. Because when goddesses get bored, they don't nap or knit, they grow people. From these seeds were born the first Sylvaneth. Each creature grew uniquely, shaped by the conditions of its planting. Under Alarielle's guidance, they matured into beings of purpose and spirit. When her task was complete, she joined Sigmar's pantheon, sharing the gifts of life magic with the realms. Must have been a good meeting. Hi, I brought an entire forest of soulful warriors. Top that. The Sylvaneth quickly spread across Giran, becoming rulers of vast regions in harmony with nature and most mortal tribes of the Jade Kingdoms. Noble spirits fought off beasts and barbarian hordes, while forest folk nurtured the land. Giran flourished, blooming with life and wonders never before seen. That part sounds nice, bit smug, but nice. They expanded to other mortal realms, establishing enclaves. However, distance from Giran came at a cost. Disconnection from the spirit song. Many Sylvaneth returned home or fell into madness. The ones who remained built settlements around places rich in life magic. Heartglades, vine halls, or cliffside groves. Notable enclaves include the Hunter's Moon, the Singing Mountains, and the city caverns of Briardell. Meanwhile, I can barely keep a cactus alive in Locke's study. The Age of Chaos. Nurgle, Lord of Plagues, desired the realm of life and spread his corruption into Giran. His spawn multiplied quickly, twisting the land and tainting life magic. Alarielle launched countless campaigns against the invaders, and the War of Life began. Nature versus rot, and you'd think it'd be a fair fight, but rot cheats. Sylvaneth clans were scattered across 1,000 fronts, facing demonic hordes. Realm gates fell, reinforcements vanished, enclaves were overrun, sacred groves burned. Even their ancient weapon, the Tear of Grace, failed them and was hidden once again. That's rough. You know it's bad when your magic forest nuke fizzles. Giran itself twisted under Nurgle's influence. Woodlands warped, rivers turned to sludge, and cities of the Everspring Swathe fell. Alarielle, drained and grieving, withdrew behind sorcery and guerrilla tactics. After disasters like the Battle of Tears and the Last Hunt, she fled to the hidden Vale of Athelward, a secret refuge. For a time, all seemed lost. Even gods break down, I guess. Even the mighty need a place to hide sometimes. The Age of Sigmar. With the Age of Sigmar came new hope. Sigmar sent the Stormcast Eternals, particularly the Hallowed Knights, to find Alarielle and renew their alliance. They aided Sylvaneth survivors, but often angered them by trespassing on sacred ground. Relations were tense. Surprise! Tree people don't like surprise visitors trampling their root circles. Who knew? Eventually, Garda Steelsoul and Loris Grimm found Alarielle in Athelward, but so did Nurgle. In the ensuing battle, the goddess fled, with her faithful and the Stormcast. Overcome by sorrow and transformation, she entered a soul pod state carried by the Lady of Vines. Soul pods. They're like plant sleeping bags, but dramatically magical. The Wargrove fought fiercely, aided by more Sylvaneth, the very land itself, and a Seraphon constellation. At last, in a place of purity, the soul pod was planted. Alarielle began to absorb the land's glory and rebirth herself in a new form, a form of war. I wish I could sprout a new version of myself every time I got overwhelmed. Just reboot in a sunflower shell and try again. Locke, bury me in the garden. What do you mean, no? Alarielle's rebirth sent a surge of pure life magic across the realms. She summoned all her children, every glade, even the lost sons of Durthu and the exiled outcasts, with a single resounding spirit song. She took up the spear of Kurnoth and held a royal moot. The God King sent his Celestant Prime, and an alliance was forged. Oh, look, someone got their groove back. Their grove back. Get it? Grove? Like tree. Never mind. Together, they assaulted the Genesis Gate and defeated the Glotkin. The Realm Gate was sealed by Alarielle's power, cutting off chaos from Giran. The tide of the War of Life began to shift. Teamwork makes the Dream Grove grow. The Seeds of Hope. Alarielle launched a full campaign to reclaim Giran. Sylvaneth reconquered lost lands. Cities such as Phoenicium, Greywater Fastness, and the Living City were established. The Seeds of Hope. Life magic and mortal resolve combined to begin a new era. I guess sometimes even trees need roommates. The Soul Wars. As the Soul Wars began, the Sylvaneth, ever attuned to the natural world, felt the approach of Nagash's deathly influence. Alarielle called upon Drycha Hamadreth and the feared Dreadwood Glade to march to Shyish and confront the threat of undeath, while others continued the fight against Nurgle. When tree spirits go to war with ghosts? Yep, definitely not enough bark skin in the world for that nonsense. All right, next scroll. Let's see. Biology and reproduction. Oh yeah, my favorite. The Sylvaneth are creatures shaped by an arcane blending of bark, sinew, and spirit, flesh mingled with the living boughs of the wildwood and ancient fey essence. Though composed of knotted heartwood and clad in thick bark, they move with flowing grace. Their willowy limbs are not weak despite their delicate appearance. Like a ballet dancer made of furniture, elegant and deadly. The average height of a branch witch, or tree revenant, is approximately 5 feet 11 inches, while the mighty Kurnoth hunters stand over 10 feet tall. Why is everything tall? What is it with tall things and being majestic? Is there a magical cutoff where you're only impressive if you're taller than the bookshelf? All Sylvaneth possess the innate ability to sense the presence of water, even deep underground. This makes them highly valued allies in parched realms like Akshi, where water is a rare and precious resource. Yeah, well, I can smell where the mold's growing in Locke's desk drawer, but nobody's calling me a natural wonder. Cycles and change. Like the realm of Giran and their goddess, the Sylvaneth undergo natural cycles. Some of these are joyous and abundant, others are darker. These grim transitions are called the dread cycles, or simply the change, and are rarely spoken of with outsiders. Ooh, mysterious spooky puberty. Maybe they get bark acne. Apparently Locke, when through a dreadwood phase, had skull shirts and everything. Reproduction, soul pod groves. Sylvaneth are not born as mortals are. They sprout from soul pods, magical seed-like vessels created from raw life magic. Each soul pod is unique, and not even Alarielle knows what form will emerge from it. The resulting Sylvaneth are shaped by her hopes, dreams, and intentions at the time of sowing. Okay, but real talk, if they come from pods, then why do some of them have big leafy assets? Like, who's out here dreaming of busty bark ladies? I mean, it's not like they're nursing anything. Do they lactate sap? Is that a thing? Someone please explain the tactical function of tree boobs. Locke, don't write that down. Stop. Put the quill down. And anyway, some of the oldest soul pods originate from the world that was, containing potent magic that cleanses and purifies the land in which they grow. These pods are guarded fiercely, as they represent the survival and restoration of the Sylvaneth race. Imagine being born from an ancient magical tree egg, and your first job is cleansing soil. What a life. Because soul pods allow the Sylvaneth to replenish their numbers, servants of chaos seek to destroy them whenever possible. Which honestly feels very on brand for chaos. Oh, you've got a beautiful tree baby growing in a glade? Let's stomp it. Lamentiri. The Lamentiri are soul seeds born only by Sylvaneth of noble standing. These beautiful motes of light contain the collective memories and wisdom of their lineage, echoes of the past passed on through generations. Upon the bearer's death, the lamentiri is harvested and planted in a soul pod grove, where its essence seeps into the land. The new Sylvaneth that sprout from that grove carry these memories as part of their being. Weird system. I'd hate to be born knowing my great-great-treant got smushed by a rot fly while composing poetry. This cycle of soul rebirth defies the laws of death itself, and it is said to enrage Nagash beyond measure. Which makes it even cooler, honestly. Habitat. Sylvaneth make their homes in places rich with life magic, deep forests, enchanted groves, and untouched lands of wonder. Their relationship with their homes is symbiotic. As the forest grows strong, so do they. And as they flourish, so does the land around them. Locke once said the Sylvaneth don't just live in forests, they are the forests. Which sounds beautiful. And terrifying if you're carrying an axe. Many Sylvaneth enclaves build their waystones with realmstone from Giran to strengthen protective spells and hide their settlements from prying eyes. Ooh, sparkly rocks with serious introvert energy. 10 out of 10. Would live in one. Okay, deep breath. Sylvaneth society is divided into several distinct groups, each playing a unique role in the preservation and, when needed, the violent defense of Giran's natural order. Because nothing says peace and love like getting root stabbed in a haunted glade. Forest folk. The forest folk were once peaceful spirits who tended to the wilds. During the Age of Chaos, many were forced to learn the ways of war, becoming deadly hunters who could sing to flowers or tear out a man's throat in the same breath. Same breath? That's talent. I can barely chew and insult someone at the same time. These are the most numerous of the Sylvaneth. Tribal and fierce, they are led by branch wraiths and include beings such as dryads. Dryads are like angry flower girls who hate everyone, especially you. Noble spirits. The noble spirits form the warrior and noble classes of the Sylvaneth, created to lead and to command. They are powerful, composed, and dignified, rarely given to base instinct or emotion. Translation: they're the stuck-up ones. Among them are the Tree Lords, Tree Lord Ancients, Branch Witches, and Tree Revenants, all disciplined, graceful, and deeply feared by their enemies. And deeply admired by Locke, because of course he likes the tall, poetic ones who talk like they're reciting tree-themed Shakespeare. Free spirits. Free spirits are mighty warriors who serve Alarielle directly and speak with her authority. They include Arch Revenants, Kurnoth Hunters, Spite Rider Lancers, and the legendary Spirit of Durthu. Oh, the teacher's pets. No personality, all power, like if you turned a yes man into a shrub with abs. Outcasts. Outcasts are mysterious, terrifying Sylvaneth who can only hear the war aspect of the spirit song. Their origins are unclear, but many believe they sprouted from soul pods planted in tainted soil. So, cursed trees that grew up angry. I knew eating dirt was dangerous. Even the Sylvaneth fear them. Outcasts like Drycha Hamadreth and the Spite Revenants embody violence and madness, appearing in dark, twisted woods and haunted glades. They're like the angry goth kids of the forest, always yelling, covered in sap, probably listen to bark metal. The Great Tree Clans. Sylvaneth society is organized into glades, massive extended families or nations, each with distinct cultures, traditions, and traits. Glades are ruled by regents, and in times of war, they muster war groves to battle. Imagine family reunions where everyone is a tree and they all passive-aggressively sing their feelings at each other. That's a glade. Let's go through some of the big-name ones, shall we? Dreadwood Glade. Creepy, violent, and not invited to parties. Gnarlroot Glade. Lore nerds would absolutely argue with Locke for 8 hours about root etymology. Harvest Boon Glade. New kids on the block, big magic, big energy, probably too excited about everything. Heartwood Glade. Kurnoth Simps. Tree bros with spears and chest vines. Ironbark Glade. Tough Nuts. Dwarden besties, probably build everything with nails and hugs. Oakenbrow Glade. The first glade, super proud of it. Definitely thinks they invented trees. Winterleaf Glade. tragic backstory. Sad poetry, dead inside, literally. Alarielle's Inner Court. The Inner Court of Alarielle is called the Royal Moot, comprising regents of the Glades and other high-ranking Sylvaneth. These leaders include Archduke of Ironbark, probably has a beard made of moss, Dowager Queen of Heartwood, fancy title, even fancier hair twigs, High King of Oakenbrow, constantly correcting your pronunciation of Kurnoth, Keeper of the Dreadwood, spooky and probably smells like mushrooms, Old Kings of Gnarlroot and Winterleaf, arguing about compost, Willow Queen of Harvestboon. Also, there's the Hunt Master of Kurnoth, and someone called the Huldress, which I'm pretty sure Locke made up to see if I was still paying attention. Spites. Spites are mischievous, magical creatures that accompany the Sylvaneth. Whimsical, cruel, and often helpful in their own weird way. The Sylvaneth tolerate and protect them in return. So basically, I'd fit in great. Except for the tolerating part. Then there are the greater spirits, like Jotunberg, the living winter giant, whose dying body once saved Alarielle by forming a frozen bridge across the Sea of Serpents. That's either the saddest bedtime story or the most metal thing I've ever heard. Though most Sylvaneth serve Alarielle, some have turned away, aligning themselves with Nagash in the realm of Shyish. Though Alarielle claims their souls, they now serve death instead of life. So even trees can ghost their goddess. Noted. So, that's Sylvaneth society. Magical cliques of tree people with dramatic titles, noble traditions, and suspiciously decorative bark. They grow from soul pods, scream in harmony, and serve a radiant life goddess who literally composts her enemies. But yeah, totally normal. Definitely not overhyped by certain besotted chroniclers with leafy tunnel vision. If I didn't already know that Locke was half Wood Elf, I would definitely say he was half Sylvaneth. I guess Sylvaneth are just Wood Elves with bark, and Wood Elves are just Sylvaneth with, meat? Anyway, thanks again for listening in on Locke and Khee. I'm gonna go lay in some sun and see if I sprout. God bless.